Have you truly understood what aging brings? At first glance, aging might seem straightforward. Graying hair, declining health, and a slower pace. But in reality, it's more complex. Some changes arrive quietly, leaving you bewildered. Minor inconveniences can make you feel as though you're drifting away from the person you once knew. It's the exhaustion that follows, cleaning up after a meal, the confusion when you can't recall the name of someone you spoke with just yesterday. The restless nights without a clear reason, and at times the loneliness that creeps in even when you're in your own home. No one warns you about these experiences, not because they're insignificant, but because most people assume they're trivial matters. However, once you go through them, you realize that aging isn't just about numbers. It's a journey filled with changes, both internal and external. This video will help you identify 9 seemingly minor issues that profoundly impact the lives of older adults. Not to alarm you, but to show you that you're not alone. More importantly, to let you know that for every discomfort, there's always a way to adapt, to take control, and to live more comfortably each day. If you're at this stage in life or have loved ones experiencing similar challenges, please watch the following segments. If you find this content valuable, consider clicking, subscribing to the channel for more helpful information, and leaving a comment with the number 1 if this topic resonates with you, or 0 if it doesn't feel relevant. This small action helps us understand you better and create content that aligns more closely with your life. Listen to the stories below. You might just see yourself reflected in them. Part 1. Forgetting names and important details. John was once a sharp-minded man, renowned in his small Vermont community for his remarkable memory and ability to recall names after just one meeting. One day, while waiting in line at the pharmacy, a middle-aged woman approached him with a smile, saying, "Hello, John, remember me?" He smiled back, but inside he felt blank, unable to recall her name or their connection. After she left, he was left with an indescribable sense of loss, as if his memory was betraying him. If you've experienced this, you're not alone. Many older adults face short-term memory decline, especially concerning seemingly unimportant information, like a neighbor's name, the location of keys, or a recent conversation. Neurologists explain that this phenomenon is normal as the brain begins to prioritize deeper information over quick short-term details. The brain also processes new information more slowly, making memory retention more challenging, particularly in distracting environments. So, what can you do when these blank moments occur? An effective approach is to build your own memory support system. Take brief notes about people you frequently encounter, their names, relationships, and something distinctive about them, and store them on your phone or in a small notebook. Reviewing these notes before attending events or meetings can boost your confidence. Don't hesitate to ask someone to repeat their name. Sometimes a simple apology can lead to a more intimate conversation. Most importantly, don't judge yourself. This isn't a sign of weakness, but a genuine part of the aging journey. Part 2. Facing sudden fatigue. Not everyone talks about it, but fatigue in old age doesn't always stem from significant exertion. Sometimes after washing dishes, tidying the living room, or taking a short walk around the yard, you feel as if you've run a marathon. Margaret, 72, living in suburban Arizona, was once actively involved in community activities. Now just preparing breakfast and cleaning the kitchen leaves her needing to sit down, sighing as her heart races unexpectedly. There's no pain, no specific illness, just a sense of no longer having the strength she once did. Margaret shares that what's most disheartening isn't the fatigue itself, but the feeling of helplessness. Her days used to be filled with numerous tasks. Now even 3 small chores make her want to give up midway. If you're experiencing something similar, understand that your body isn't betraying you. It's signaling that your pace needs adjustment. As we age, our cardiovascular, respiratory, and metabolic systems slow down. Muscles weaken, and our ability to regulate temperature and energy becomes less efficient. Consequently, tasks that once felt effortless now demand more energy than anticipated. However, this doesn't mean you must slow down entirely. Instead of trying to complete everything in one morning, break tasks into smaller segments throughout the day. After each task, take a short break. Even just 5 or 10 minutes can significantly rejuvenate your energy. Prioritize more demanding tasks in the morning, when your body is more alert and energetic. Additionally, reassess your diet and sleep patterns. Stay hydrated, incorporate protein-rich foods and B vitamins, and engage in light exercises like leg lifts, arm curls, or short indoor walks. These practices can enhance your body's resilience without the need for a gym. Part 3. Unexpected weight gain. Gaining weight after 60 is common and perplexing, especially when your diet and lifestyle haven't changed. Richard, 68, a retired engineer in Colorado, maintained his routine of morning walks, 3 balanced meals, and limited sweets. Yet, over a year he gained nearly 10 pounds. He wasn't eating more or exercising less. The weight gain was gradual, silent, and frustrating. Richard's experience isn't unique. As we age, our bodies alter how they process energy. Metabolic rates decrease, and muscle mass naturally diminishes, leading to fewer calories burned. Even if your eating habits remain the same as 5 years ago, those calories might now be excessive. Hormonal changes, particularly decreased testosterone in men and estrogen in women, also contribute to fat accumulation, especially around the abdomen and back. Often this goes unnoticed until clothes feel tighter and the scale reflects the change. The solution isn't extreme dieting. Start by slightly adjusting your diet, reduce carbohydrate portions, increase vegetables and lean proteins. Eating smaller, more frequent meals can help your body manage energy more efficiently. Next, incorporate physical activity. You don't need to run or lift heavy weights. Simple exercises like brisk walking, leg lifts, or gentle yoga suffice. Consistency is key. Aim for daily movement without interruptions. Weight gain isn't a sign of neglect. It's a natural part of your body's transformation. Understanding and adapting to these changes can prevent further health issues like heart disease, diabetes, or joint pain. Have you been puzzled by weight changes despite consistent habits? Share your experiences or advice in the comments. Your insights might help someone regain composure and control over their body. Part 4. More frequent doctor visits. Growing older not only brings more medications, but also more appointments, and at times more worries than you ever expected. Martha, 73, used to visit her doctor just once a year for a routine checkup. Now her calendar is packed. One day it is a blood sugar test, the next. It is a blood pressure check, followed by a heart ultrasound, then a blood draw the week after. Every few weeks, a new appointment slip appears in her mailbox. At first, she found it frustrating. The planning, the travel, the waiting, the paperwork, all of it left her exhausted before she even reached the clinic. But after missing a routine visit and ending up in the emergency room due to a sudden spike in blood pressure, Martha came to a realization: these appointments were not a burden. They were the last line of defense before things spiraled out of control. In reality, once you reach your 60s, you can no longer wait for obvious symptoms before seeing a doctor. Many serious health issues such as heart disease, diabetes, and osteoporosis develop quietly, showing no symptoms for long periods. Regular checkups are the only way to catch these problems early while they are still manageable. Rather than resisting these visits, try to make them part of a proactive lifestyle. Combine them with other activities after your appointment. Stop by the market, meet a friend for coffee, or enjoy a walk in a nearby park. Think of each visit not as an interruption, but as a way to chart your health journey, and always go prepared. Before each appointment, write down any questions you want to ask. Keep a record of recent symptoms or changes in your sleep, digestion, or heart rate. Doing so not only helps your doctor understand you better, but also helps you feel in control. Have medical visits left you feeling drained physically or emotionally, or have you found a way to face them with more ease? Share your story in the comments. Your simple advice might help someone else feel less overwhelmed in their own aging journey. Part 5. Difficulty concentrating. You open the reading app on your iPad, ready to pick up where you left off last night. But just a few minutes in, you realize you are reading without understanding. You scroll back to the previous paragraph, then forget what you just reread. This is one of the most frustrating changes that aging brings: the inability to concentrate and the weakening of short-term memory. It is not a sign of severe memory loss, but rather the feeling that your thoughts are slipping through your fingers. Mike, 71, lives in Minnesota and has always enjoyed solving crossword puzzles in the USA Today each morning. Lately, though, he finds himself getting stuck just a few lines in. Familiar words suddenly feel distant, and he ends up staring at a simple clue for several minutes. Mike does not have Alzheimer's. His mind is simply no longer as agile as it once was. This is not uncommon. According to geriatric specialists, blood flow to the brain decreases with age, and the connections between neurons begin to weaken. The older we get, the harder it becomes for the brain to filter distractions and maintain focus. But here is the important part. You are not helpless against this change. Just like muscles, the brain needs daily training. That does not mean you need to earn a new degree. It simply means staying curious. Learn to play the ukulele. Join a virtual book club. Try out a new app to video call your grandchildren. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you reawaken your brain. Do not worry if it takes you longer to process things. Do not feel ashamed if you have to reread a passage twice. What matters is that you remain engaged and never give up on yourself when your mind slows down. If you have ever felt yourself drifting away mid-thought, share that moment in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone and more at ease with their own changes. Part 6. Loneliness and social isolation. Loneliness in old age does not always come from living alone. Sometimes even with family around or friendly neighbors who greet you each morning. It still feels like you are watching life through a thick pane of glass. You can see others, but no one seems to see you. In the United States, nearly 1/3 of older adults report feeling lonely, often even when they do not live alone. Loneliness is not about the absence of people. It is about the emotional distance between you and the world around you. Harold, 76, was a carpenter and now lives with his wife in a quiet suburb in British Columbia. He still video calls his son, every week goes grocery shopping, and sits on the porch watching people pass by. But it dawned on him recently, it has been a long time since anyone asked him a simple question like, "How are you feeling today?" Isolation does not begin with silence. It begins with surface-level conversations that never go deep, with the realization that you are no longer at the center of anyone's story, and with the feeling that your presence or absence makes no real difference. If you feel like Harold here is something you need to know, reconnecting does not always mean waiting for someone to reach out. Sometimes all it takes is one message, one invitation to go for a walk, or signing up for a cooking class at the local community center to begin changing everything. Many places now have senior centers offering book clubs, gardening groups, and even digital skills, workshops for older adults. Join them not just to pass the time, but to remember what it feels like to belong. If you have ever felt alone in a crowd, leave a comment. It does not have to be long. Just knowing that someone else feels the same can make a world of difference. Part 7. Declining mobility. It is not about pain, it is not a disease, but it is a very real feeling. Your body no longer moves the way it used to. You sit down to tie your shoelaces. What used to be a simple movement suddenly feels tricky. You bend forward and hesitate. Standing back up takes effort and a search for balance. You are not in pain, you just feel unsure. For many older adults, a loss of flexibility does not happen overnight. It creeps in little by little. Movements you once did hundreds of times a day now require careful thought, not because you are weak, but because your body no longer flows as smoothly as before. Thomas, 74, lives alone in New Jersey. He once repaired his own roof by himself. Today, even reaching for a cup on a high shelf makes him pause. Not because he lacks strength, but because he no longer feels stable enough to trust his balance. According to experts, after age 60, the body begins to lose muscle mass, reflex speed, and joint flexibility. Muscle fibers stop responding as quickly. Ankles no longer provide the same support. You do not notice this until a small movement nearly causes you to fall, but this does not mean the end. Mobility can be improved if you train your body the right way and stay consistent. Start with gentle exercises like knee lifts, shoulder rolls, or balancing on one foot while brushing your teeth. You do not need a gym, just a few minutes each day with steady effort. Join a Tai Chi class, try senior yoga, or go for walks with a friend in the park. All of these help you regain confidence in your body. Do not wait until after a fall to start caring about your balance. If you have ever hesitated because a once easy movement became uncertain, share that experience in the comments. Not to complain, but to remind others that maintaining flexibility is also a way of preserving dignity and control in life. Part 8. Trouble sleeping. 3 in the morning, you are wide awake. There is no noise, no bad dreams, just your eyes opening suddenly. Your mind alert as if it were daytime, you stare at the ceiling, listen to the ticking clock. Turn over and try to drift off again, but sleep does not return. And you know that when the sun rises, you will begin the day with a body that feels drained and restless, as if you never really rested. Sleep problems in older adults can be one of the most frustrating issues. It is not that you cannot fall asleep, but that you cannot stay asleep deeply. Many people do not realize that as we age, the structure of our sleep changes. It becomes lighter, easier to interrupt, and harder to resume. Judy, 69, lives in Portland. She used to fall asleep the moment her head touched the pillow, but now she often finds herself awake in the middle of the night for no reason. I am not anxious about anything, she says, but around 3 in the morning, I wake up like clockwork, like a broken alarm. There can be many causes: hormonal changes, decreased melatonin production, side effects from medications, or simply the body being different now. But the important thing is this: sleep can be supported. You do not have to give up. Before bedtime, turn off all electronic devices at least an hour in advance. Do not use your phone in the dark. The blue light suppresses melatonin. Avoid coffee after lunchtime and build a clear bedtime routine. Go to bed at the same hour each night. Create a peaceful environment with soft lighting, comfortable room temperature, and calming scents like lavender. These cues help signal your brain that it is time to rest. If you wake up during the night, do not lie there, worrying. Get up gently, read a few pages by dim light, do a few deep breaths. Often after 10 or 15 minutes, your body will naturally return to sleep. Have you ever found yourself wide awake in the middle of the night without knowing why? Tell us about that moment in the comments. We cannot stop every sleepless night, but knowing that others go through the same thing sometimes, that is the first comfort we need. Part 9. Declining vision and hearing. Few things make you feel your age more clearly than sitting in the middle of a conversation and not being able to hear what is being said. Sounds no longer come through clearly. Someone may be speaking right in front of you, but their words are drowned out by background noise as if you are listening from behind a thick sheet of glass. You smile and nod out of habit. Not because you understood, but because you do not want to feel left out. This is the reality for many older adults. Vision and hearing decline, not necessarily because of serious illness, but simply because the body has carried many years with it. Judith, 72, lives in Illinois. She used to be very outgoing and loved family dinners and social events. But these days, when the family gathers at a noisy restaurant, she often just sits quietly. I do not want to interrupt or keep asking people to repeat themselves, she says, so I just smile and stay silent. Hearing loss often begins with high-pitched sounds, like a child's voice, birds chirping, or soft consonants like S and th. You might not realize it until you stop hearing the doorbell or find yourself turning the television up louder than usual. Similarly, vision changes can make it harder to read subtitles, see clearly at night, or recognize someone's face from a distance. The important thing is to not feel ashamed. Wearing glasses or using hearing aids is not a sign of weakness. It is a way of staying connected to life. Today's hearing technology is more subtle and comfortable than ever. Eyeglasses are lightweight and multifunctional. But even before turning to these tools, the first step is to acknowledge that help is needed. If you have ever pretended to hear something just to avoid feeling out of place, know that you are not alone. And if you have found a way to move past that discomfort, share your story. It might be the key that helps someone else rejoin a full conversation again. There is no class that prepares you for waking up in the middle of the night, for no reason for forgetting the name of someone close, or for sitting silently in the middle of a gathering because you feel like you no longer belong. These changes pile up slowly, quietly, until one day you realize you have entered a different chapter of life. But here is the truth you need to remember. Getting older does not mean losing who you are. It means learning to understand yourself all over again, with a new body, new emotions, and a new rhythm of life. Every discomfort you heard in this video is not a warning. It is a gentle reminder that you deserve to be prepared to be heard and to be supported. And if there is one message we hope you carry with you after this, it is this: you are not alone. There are millions of others out there also wondering why they get irritated more easily than before, why their bodies react differently to heat, or why they feel lonely even when someone is sitting beside them. These questions do not need to be hidden. They simply need to be shared so that we can see one another more clearly and treat one another more kindly. If you recognized yourself in any part of this journey, leave a message below. It can be just one line. But for someone silently going through the same thing, that one line might feel like a gentle light in the dark.